The Zebec token is looking all coiled up and primed for a pretty decent move. From a technical perspective on the chart, things are looking good. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today, as well as some of the major reasons as to why Zebec, in my opinion, is a very strong project that seems like it's going to continue to deliver over time. So we're going to be talking about all that in the video today. Of course, if you find the information in this video as we're going through it useful, like and subscribe always helps if you are looking to stay tuned for more. We'll start out by taking a look at the crypto bubbles. We can see here Tezos just absolutely roaring today. Definitely been kind of the winner of the day so far. I did make a video earlier about this. If you are interested in kind of learning more about why it's been going up so crazy, you can feel free to go check that out. It's my most recent video prior to this one. So if you want to check that out. As we can see kind of with most other things, it does look like a decent mix. It is actually green on the day, but we are seeing some pullbacks happening within the market, but overall a pretty decent run out of a fair swath of altcoins here within the market. So things looking good there. If we do look at Zebec, Zebec has not been as exciting as maybe some of the others have been so far. If we look right here, we can see obviously the recent move to the downside has been a little rough. The BTCC chart makes it look worse than it actually is. We'll take a look at the trading view chart here in a minute, but what we can see is things are starting to look coiled, right? I mean, we've got a pretty decent little consolidation going on here. We saw a nice, really strong move to the upside. We've seen a little bit of a retrace, and now we're kind of starting to be in that consolidationary period. So if we do see a breakout here, this could be a really, really great time to be getting in on a what could be otherwise a pretty strong move to the upside. Now we are going to take a quick look at the trading view because I said they've got a little bit more data there. If you are interested in trading Zebec though, we do have it here on BTCC. BTCC, I do have an affiliate link in the description below. If you are interested, they do 10% bonuses on first-time deposits, as well as up to $10,055 in deposit and trading bonuses. So if you are looking to trade Zebec, as we potentially are getting in this pretty crazy move happening, that is a great way to do so. Now, if we head over to the trading view and we take a look here, we can see a couple of different things happening. Now, of course, first off, like I said, the BTCC chart making it look a little bit worse than it is because it basically only shows this part. It does not show this part. So we can see, still a pretty decent consolidation. We saw price come back almost down to some of these recent highs prior to this higher high. So we have seen a reasonable level looking of retrace, which again, really, really strong looking. We have seen it break the trend line, again, another really good thing. And then we have seen it kind of retest this trend line and then now potentially have bounced off the bottom here. So the big thing that I'm going to be looking for anybody looking to trade Zebec, and if I'm looking to enter a Zebec position, it's going to be a pretty strong thing that I'm looking for here, and that is going to be breaking this 236 line. What we can see right now is we've been rejected a couple times recently on this 236 Fibonacci level, but also we are in this level of consolidation kind of right around this Fibonacci line. So I do think if we were to break this as well as this Fib resistance level and we continue to move back on up to the upside, obviously 382 being next and then 0.5 from there up and up and up all the way. But this is going to be kind of the key point here. So this will signal essentially a complete trend change because we will be seeing a higher high, we'll have seen a higher low, and we will have broken past this trend line, broken, retested, bounced. This is all technically really, really good looking stuff here for the Zebec token and the future of the Zebec token price. So that is something that I wanted to talk about specifically. I also did put in the title and thumbnail of this video 150,000 Zebec tokens. We are going to be talking about that here in just a minute, so you can kind of see what I'm thinking there as well. Now, if we go ahead and we look at kind of what this type of move could look like if we saw a break, it would probably be potentially similar in scale to this, maybe even a bit larger. So we could see a break maybe up into this like 618, 786 range. Generally, price does kind of like to find this area, but we also can see a decent level of resistance at this 618 level. So if we potentially saw a breakout to the 618, then we could see a little bit of some consolidation in here. Again, higher highs, higher lows being the main thing that we're looking for here. And then we could always be kind of hopefully looking for a similar type of break that we saw here that led to this super run coming from the Zebec token. So always kind of having that in the back of our mind here, but we could see a little bit of a break and a retest and then continuing on through. If we did check that out, And we did essentially kind of continue to see that type of thing happening. We can look here towards the fib levels of kind of what we would see for support and resistances, and then some extensions. We could see kind of a clear path to like just over 2.25 cents here. So, a pretty strong path to the upside here, which is looking pretty good. I definitely think we could see that coming from the Zebec token. Again, if we go to the 4236 here, we're not going to be quite 10x, but we will be relatively close. And I want to talk again, we'll be getting to that here in a second. One thing I also wanted to take a look at just as a wider kind of commentary on the alt market, I guess is what I'm trying to say. We can see that alt season is gaining traction. So there are definitely more people in retail and just more people generally looking for this type of alt season thing. So I think this is something that is, people are definitely starting to pay attention. Prices are continuing to do quite well. We can see things looking pretty good here. So, I think that this is a good news or a good sign that we might have kind of this a little bit more of a sustained run kind of over maybe the next month or so. Again, you never know for sure. It is crypto. It's almost impossible to say, but seeing this type of setup in an otherwise bullish market, I think looks pretty good for us. Kind of moving on into the next several weeks. The last thing I want to take a look at is some of the major kind of reasons why you would, or like essentially the things that are confirmed about Zebec. In my opinion, these are all very, very bullish things. And then in addition, we'll be talking about the 100,000 Zebec or the 150,000 Zebec and why I think that's important. So first off here, we could see all of the different things. There's a massive list of things that are 100% confirmed from Zebec. I'm not going to cover all of them just because there's so many things here, as you can see, but I have reposted this and liked it. So I do have that link to my X account in the description below. If you want to kind of read this whole thing, or as I go through, you can probably just pause the video and kind of read through all this stuff as well. But we could see here lots of different things going on. First one here, it's the first Solana project to be in the Visa FinTech Startup Program, which is cool. Stripe and Chime were also notable members of this program. We can see Zebec had received a Stellar Developer Grant. Again, Stellar has done very, very well recently, so that's some pretty good company there. They're a Circle Alliance member. Circle's just been absolutely smashing after their IPO. They're partnered with Ondo. Ondo's really well hyped. Utilizing Ondo's RWA, they have integrated USDY into their card products. Payroll encompasses retirement, Ondo retirement funds / stock market on chain. So they're making a lot of really different and interesting moves here. We could see here purchased GateKnox, a chain auditing, document auditing, compliance platform. One of the founders now on the Zebec team was an architect for Blick, the biggest mobile payment platform in Eastern Europe. So you can see here, uses MasterCard's global payment network, has integrated Ripple's RLUSD, offers crypto cards for over 150 cryptocurrencies, on and on and on and on. Like I said, I'm not going to go through all of this just because there's so many things here. But if you want to either pause the video or check out my X account in the description below, you can go and kind of check out all of these things. As you can see, hopefully this is fundamentally a very, very impressive and well accomplished list of a lot of different things happening for an otherwise pretty bright future, hopefully, for this crypto project. So with the technical things that we're seeing, with the fundamental things that we're seeing, with the kind of general macro shift happening for the alt season and the general alt market, Zebec's looking really good. So I think this could just be an exercise in patience from my perspective. We'll have to see for sure. Obviously, we never know what the future holds, but I do think that there's a lot of really interesting things in store for us with the Zebec token. Now, going back to this 150,000 Zebec tokens, the reason why I have kind of picked this arbitrary number is because that, as of today at least, at today's prices, is about $500. Again, there are some of you who, that may be virtually nothing. There might be some of you that might be a lot too. Obviously, it's really, really difficult to pick an exact number because just everybody's situation is so different. But I picked this number because I think with 150,000 Zebec tokens, that gives you pretty strong upside. I think right now with Zebec, they're about a $230-ish million market cap. I think with what we've seen and potentially the right market conditions, we could easily see a 10x happening from Zebec. And so that right there turns $500 into $5,000, which is, again, potentially, depending on who you are, a bit more sizable amount of money. And then from there, and that's only a $2.3 billion market cap. We see some of these things like XRP, which are 200 billion, or Stellar, which I think is like 20 or 30 billion at this point. that's like another 10x from there, right? So that could potentially turn your 5 grand into 50 grand. Now, I'm not trying to insinuate that that's exactly what's going to happen, but the way I view this is that would be enough where if you had 150,000 Zebec tokens, it gives you the ability to, maybe pull half off at a 10x, and then you have the ability to kind of free ride the rest to potentially a higher amount. You can pull half off at 2x, and then you now are free riding the rest. I mean, it gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of, what we could potentially be seeing. And I think Zebec right now is still flying somewhat under the radar. There's still not even a top 100 token. There's a lot of different other things that kind of people are catching on to. And so I think if they continue to deliver and they start to have some of that product market fit, it's going to be massive, massive stuff for Zebec. Whoops. But so anyway, that's kind of how I'm viewing this. Hopefully you found the information in the video useful. If you did, of course, a like and a subscribe does help. And it also will keep you updated for all of the other things that I'm talking about within the crypto market and whatnot if you are looking to stay up to date. Also, if you have any comments, questions, thoughts, anything like that, just drop those in the comment section below as well. I do try to read and respond to all of those. So if you have anything that you want me to see, that'd be a great way to do so. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.